Yo, what's up guys? Bill here for Classic Rock and Metal Review. Welcome to another show, another sort of end of the year best of list. Is this the first one I'm doing? I think it is. We got a bunch of them coming for you. Part of the 12 videos of Christmas. Cheers, everybody out there. That's right, tonight's drink, good old water. I'm running out of gas. I got 7 days in a row of work. Today was my 6th one. One more to go. It's almost 11 at night. I'm beat. I can't even handle a real drink right now. That's how tired I am. But that's not your problem. Real quick, let me just go over what's coming up. Among all the usual episodes, I might add, I'm going to throw all these in. What we're about to do right now, favorite, new to me CDs that I picked up this year. A couple vinyl albums too. One exception among these 25. And they're ranked from 25 to number 1 as best I could do. I think if I tried to rank these things 10 different times, I'd come up with 10 different orders. So I did my best. I actually went over this list 3 or 4 times. 25 favorite pickups of 2023. But coming up within the next couple weeks, 25 favorite bootleg pickups of the year, 20 favorite music video pickups of the year. That could be bootleg or commercial. 10 favorite super deluxe editions that I picked up this year. 15 favorite CDs that I reacquired, used to have. A couple of the Love You Long Times are in there, among some others. And not to be forgotten, the 20 most disappointing pickups of the year. And that's bootleg, commercial CDs, video, all in one, 20 most disappointing pickups. And one more thing. Let me see, I can't read my own writing here. Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing, I guess right up around New Year's or so, my New Year's resolutions for 2024, musically, which include getting to some of these things that I've had laying around for a year or more, still sealed, several box sets, but also I want to do some music upgrades, some equipment upgrades around the house, and we'll get to that. So, let's just get started. Numbers 25 through 21. Again, guys, my favorite 25 commercial CD pickups for 2023. Let's start number 25. It's Eric Clapton, Backless, his 1978 CD. Follow-up from Slow Hand was bound to be somewhat of a letdown, as you can imagine. However, you know what? To me, I think it's a pretty damn good album. Probably gets a little overlooked because of the sort of follow-up status, you know, not as good as Slow Hand, but what was going to be, really. Solid album from Clapton. I listened to this a couple times. It's been a few months, though. Need to get back to that one. Number 24, Stephen Stills and Manassas, Down the Road. Not a fantastic album. Right about what the majority of people have to say about it. It's a decent album. It's nowhere near as good as the debut. And another one, just like Slow Hand, probably was never going to ever be as good as the one before it. 1973 album, Stephen Stills and Manassas. Actually got 3 or 4 really good songs on it. 2 or 3 decent songs kind of thing. A couple songs don't do much for me, but overall I'm happy to finally have this one, because I've had that debut album by Manassas since the early 90s, maybe even the late 80s. So finally picking up the only other album these guys ever did. Comes in at number 24 for me. Number 23, just got this one a few months ago. Aerosmith's Rockin' a Hard Place. I've never owned this. My next door neighbor, my buddy Rick, he used to have it when it was new, I think, back in '82. And it's a pretty good album. You know, I didn't remember it being great. It wasn't as good as the other album we had by Aerosmith at the time, called Greatest Hits. Running theme here. Was it ever going to be, you know? Obviously not. And that's what I think we held against it, which really wasn't fair. It's a pretty good album, and I have to get into it a little more, but I did spin this thing like 2 or 3 times. Lightning Strikes is just amazing. But there's several other good ones on there. A little bit of a mixed bag of styles, but pretty good, man. Really like Bitches Brew. What was the other one that kind of surprised me? I think Joni's Butterfly. I think that's one. Rockin' a Hard Place is okay. You know what? I don't know these songs by the name. There was a couple on here that did nothing for me and several songs that were really, really good. Coming in at number 22, Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra. You know, I just never really gave this much of a chance. Of course, the title track's awesome, and that's all I ever really heard from this thing. A little bit of a modern sound, another 1982 album. Nothing's really quite like the title track in terms of synthesizer use, but there is synth all over this record, but the synth sounds tend to be different from song to song. Not one sort of road-mapped style here. And typical Steve Miller 70s catchy songwriting still intact. That one surprised me. That's Steve Miller Band at number 22. At number 21, another album from 1982, Flock of Seagulls. Now this is the deluxe edition. I'm just talking about the main record on here, the main album. And this is a really solid record. I only knew the two songs going in, the two hits, Space Age Love Song and I Ran. But there's several other songs really good on here. There's a couple that I don't love, but most of this record's pretty solid, you know, pretty good. I really kind of liked it. The extras, discs 2 and 3, not really necessary, honestly. Find yourself just the regular album of this, and if you like those two hit songs, the rest of the album's pretty much in line with that, and it's good. So that one comes in at number 21. Let's move to number 20. I think this one goes back to 1986. It's Ratt, Dancing Undercover. I never owned this, never heard a damn song. Maybe a video or maybe a song on a live bootleg kind of thing. Solid all the way through. I wish it had a couple of great catchy songs to draw me in a little more. Yeah, it doesn't really to me. Maybe Dance, I guess, is one. And there's another one on there. Forgetting. It doesn't matter maybe. But I really thought this album was better than I expected, and it's solid all the way through. And it's heavy, you know. I think back in the day I just saw the word dancing in the title and figured it's going to be corny. But it's probably heavier than Invasion of Your Privacy. And solid, number 20, Ratt. Coming in at number 19, Gordon Lightfoot, 1976 album, Summertime Dream. Picked this up because it was like $1 brand new on eBay. And, you know, always looking to add a little something here and there of different styles of music besides rock and metal. Gord, more your folk rock kind of thing. Really only have Sundown and Gord's Gold, so my second true basic album from Gordon Lightfoot, and really surprisingly good. Almost every song on here is really good or great. Nice one from Gord. Number 18, Michael McDonald, If That's What It Takes. Yet another album from 1982, his solo debut. You know, kind of wrote this off when I got it on vinyl back in the 80s. Kept it around though, I still have it, surprising myself actually, finding that in my collection. The CD sounds really good. All kinds of contributions here from former Doobie Brothers, various other big names in music as far as studio musicians and such. Good songs, a couple on here that aren't great. Overall, everything's really good or approaching great. And I don't know why I just thought it wasn't that good back in the day. But my cousin told me, give it another chance. He had heard some of this on Sirius satellite radio somehow. Non-hit songs, and said, check it out. It seems like a pretty deep album, and it is. Coming in at number 17, The Cars, Door to Door. Now, I don't love this album all the way through, but there's 11 songs on there. I would say I probably like, or really like, about 7 of them. And it grew on me. This album, played it like 3 or 4 times. Just found myself driving around with it for a week or so in a row without anything else in my car. So it got a couple extra listens, and those listens kind of helped me get in this a little more than I first thought I would. And a couple of great ones on there. Double Trouble I love. Another heavy one, Strap Me In. But I started finding myself getting into some of the lighter stuff too. You Were the Girl. Fine Line's a really good sort of atmospheric, creepy song. Doors' final original lineup app. Coming in at number 16, James Taylor's JT. We've all got the greatest hits from 76. This was his next album, 77. And what a solid one, and not just your basic singer-songwriter stuff. Some real variation in styles. Little R&B style coming through on several of these songs. And just a solid one. You know what? I think I only really listened to this once. It left that much of an impression on me. So I got to get back to that guy too. Moving up to number 15, and yet another album from 1982. I just couldn't help but notice that when I was putting this list together. Lounge Dweller, here we go. Vendetta, that was your recommendation to me about a year ago. And did end up getting this in the spring, I believe. And just gave this another spin about a week or two ago for the first time in months. And it's a really good, solid album. I don't love it to death, but I really like it. And there really isn't anything. There's one or two songs that are just okay. But that's compared to the rest of the album that's really good. I find there to be a real sort of Nazareth kind of style of these songs, and I think I own one Nazareth album. I don't even know if I've gotten to that one yet. I just know 2 or 3 Nazareth songs from the radio, and these guys kind of remind me of that sort of piercing guitar leads, that come in here and there. And about that same level of heaviness too. They're sort of hard rock, not really metal kind of thing. Vendetta's number 15. Number 14, we got Journey. I think this album's from '79, Infinity. I have a lot of Journey albums. This is probably might be the only older album that I didn't have. So nice pickup here. You got some hit songs, and you got some of the leftover remnants of their progressive era from a little earlier. Just coming through just enough, but all the song lengths are right around 4 minutes, so it's sort of radio-friendly, slightly progressively influenced rock, and of course with Steve Perry in there, a little bit of ballad action here and there. But a lot of the songs are sort of, or several of the songs I should say, a little bit of a mixed bag of all those. Rock, ballad, progressive style. So good one there from Journey, number 14. Number 13, this one really surprised me because I have Dixie Chicken, and I think I have their first album also. And they're just okay. But this Little Feat live album, Waiting for Columbus, is really where it's at with those guys. 2 albums put on the 1 CD with this one. And I know the deluxe edition came out earlier this year. That would be a great one to get, because this is just solid. You at least need this one. I think the album's from '77, and they really shine live, as most sort of jam bands do. Great one there. Need to listen to that. I think I only listened to that once. Another one that left a big impression with one listen. Now here's another deluxe edition, but I'm just really talking about the main album because I never owned it or even heard it before. Laid Back by Gregg Allman, 1973, first solo album, and just a really perfect album, really. 8 songs, so it's not too long. His great version of Midnight Rider that I prefer over the Allman's version. Queen of Hearts is really good. Please Call Home on here is cool. Another Allman's cover. Don't Mess Up a Good Thing might be the only one I don't love. These Days, love his version of that Jackson Browne song. And really uses big sort of gospel choir kind of thing in 2 or 3 songs just really well. And it's a pretty short album, but it really just gets to the point with those 8 songs. Excellent, excellent production on this thing, man. I mean, this is one that sounds probably better than vinyl. It's not too often you find that, but this one sounds incredible. Can't really do any better. Gregg Allman comes in at number 11, or number 12. At number 11, Tank, Filth Hounds of Hades, 1982. Again, I remember someone back in the day told us, a friend of ours, hey, if you guys are into Motorhead, you should check out Tank. Well, I never really did. So up until this year, definitely delivers on that promise. Even the bonus tracks on this are great. This was a back in print kind of thing from earlier this year. It looks exactly like 2021 release. This was the 23 release. And what an awesome, great hard rock, punk metal album. Hard to even define that one. All right, let's get to the top 10. Scorpions. I got this from Japan import. Scorpions in Trance. I think this album's from '77. Really good, solid album, and I mean album. As in, you really shouldn't listen to this without listening to the whole thing. Not like it's a theme album or a concept album or anything. It just feels like a long player, what LP stood for, These aren't made to be singles. Perfect album material right here. And by that I mean nothing bad on here. The songs are really good or great all the way through. Great work here by the Scorpions. I have a couple of other albums from them back there that I haven't got to yet. Have to get to them soon. Number 9, really dig this one. 2003, Steve Winwood, About Time. You know, changing up his style. He's not going for pop hits anymore. Soulful, Hammond B3 driven, you know, and a lot of percussion added in there. Great players on this one with Steve. Awesome percussion going on, and totally loved also the DVD of the same tour that I picked up earlier this year. We'll get to that DVD countdown one of these upcoming days, holiday season days. So number 9, Steve Winwood. Number 8 is actually a vinyl album, and it's Steely Dan, sort of a one-off little thing here. It's called 4 Tracks from Steely Dan. This actually came out in 1976, but the main star of the show here, stars of the show, are the 2 1972 songs that were never released on any official releases other than the official single that had Dallas on side A and on side B, Sail the Waterway. So you get both of them here along with Haitian Divorce and Do It Again on this 1976 little 4-song compilation kind of thing. Promo, if you want to call it that. So nice to just have these songs in an official form. The other form is that 45. So this is just kind of a cooler thing. The official deal. It's kind of cool to have. Coming in at number 7, double album by Santana called Moonflower, 1977. Just a real musician's album here. Best way to describe it. Carlos sounds great, but he's not exactly like all over this album. There's lots of great percussion, jazzy sort of passages here and there. Some songs are just real jazzy altogether. But the songs aren't super long either. There's a couple of longer ones. But there's plenty of stuff that's in the 2 and 3 minute range. So things keep moving. You know, it's part live, and that stuff's great. Part new, and that's great too. Just a double album that's just pretty much a slam dunk all the way through. She's Not There cover, I think was the single off of this one. Santana Moonflower coming in number 7. Moving on to number 6, 1989's Blue Murder debut. First time I heard it, and ever, you know, when I bought it earlier this year, and totally love it. John Sykes leading the way, Carmine Appice on drums, and Tony Franklin on bass, who I couldn't stand with The Firm. Probably because I just didn't really get into The Firm's music. That bass was just almost annoying to me. And here, it's completely opposite. I don't know, in a metal sound, Tony Franklin's constant noodling really livens things up and spices things up in a way where it just didn't do it for me with The Firm. Just a fantastic record. I think I gave this like a 9.3 out of 10 earlier this year, and it deserves it. I just listened to this earlier this week, first time in months, and yeah, it's a great one. Top 5 now, guys. Here's one that I never owned back in the day. That's the whole premise of this countdown, actually. I think someone taped it for me, and I played it once or twice, and then that was kind of it. I just never got this album. Finally, I own Iron Maiden's Power Slave. I know, how do I go all these years without owning it? I don't know, just don't even ask. I did have Live After Death when it first came out in '85, so I did have roughly half of this album or so, 3 or 4 songs, what have you, that way. But man, I just love this thing. It's great. And I think I might have only listened to this once. So this needs to get back on my player. You know, when things end up on that wall, man, you know, they just get sort of forgotten. That's just the thing. I need to keep a certain amount of CDs out and about in the living room so I don't forget about them, like what happened here. Number 5, Iron Maiden's Power Slave. Coming in at number 4, another new to me, Tommy Bolin's Teaser. Love this album. Such variety of songs. I don't think his guitar playing is all that in every song, to be honest. But this album, I don't know if that was necessarily the intention. These are just, 10 songs, right? 9 songs, and it's 9 really good songs, and they're quite different from each other stylistically, you know? Really enjoy this one a lot. One of my favorites, obviously, number 4 for 1976's Teaser for Tommy Bolin. Great stuff. I just listened to this the other day too. Number 3, a vinyl album that I just picked up. Just showed it on the very last show. But this one has climbed right up to the top for me. Another Lounge Dweller wreck that comes through. This one even more so than Vendetta. sound barrier, Los Angeles based, early 80s metal band, all black. And these guys have their own sound, even though they have various styles of metal on here, which is, not easy to pull off, and they do it. What a great album. It's not a perfect album. There's a couple songs, maybe 2 or even 3 songs that I don't think are fantastic, but there are multiple great songs on here. I'd say 5 or 6 songs on here I think are awesome. Side 1 is almost perfect. One song on there doesn't do much for me. It might be Mayday, but man, Other Side's awesome. Total Control, one of my favorite songs of the year. Rock Without the Roll's grown on me. Didn't love that at first. Now that I'm 4 or 5 listens in, really love Rock Without the Roll. So I still need to even play this more. Dying to hear it right now as I'm holding it. Number 2, now this is the one exception on here that's not new to me. I got it on vinyl about 8 years ago. I think I played it once, maybe once and a half kind of thing. Got the Wounded Bird CD a few years ago and played that a few times, but it's been probably 2-3 years. Picked up the Steven Wilson remix of Richard Wright's Wet Dream, and it sort of just launched it into another level for me. So I just totally love this album. The remix sounds better than the original CD. It sounds better than the vinyl. But just really, I guess, was just the final sort of push over the edge for me to give this thing. I'm still listening to this 4 or 5 times. Just love it to death. Richard Wright's 1978 debut solo album. My favorite new pickup of the year, another deluxe edition, but I'm just really talking about the main record, Thin Lizzy's Chinatown. I got a lot of their deluxe editions all in one fell swoop about a year and a half ago. And they kind of just sat on the shelf mostly, believe it or not, until I got around to them, which I did get around to all of them except one, I believe. This one is the one that just stuck around in my car for a month while I listened to the main record mostly. The disc 2 is great. Not saying it's not. It's really got some great stuff on it. But I just really kind of love that album. And I know it was kind of a mess making it for the band, but it sounds like one big cohesive album to me, even though there was multiple studios, multiple producers, introducing Snowy White into the band. Phil's doing solo album at the same time. The band wasn't sure if they were recording solo material or Thin Lizzy material sometimes in the studio. Really hectic. Doesn't come across that way at all to me. Sounds like one record that was made in 3 weeks. And man, I just love it. It's not perfect, but what's great on here is really great. A couple of songs that are okay, or they're not even bad. So Chinatown's my favorite new to me album this year. Now, if you saw anything else that I showed you this year, I got in monthly hauls and so forth, and you don't see it on this list, but it's awesome and it should be. It's probably just because I just didn't get to it, so it could be on the next one. Next year's Top 25 Countdown. Guys, this was the Top 25 new to me albums, with the exception of Richard Wright, for 2023, commercial albums. We'll be getting to, like I said, favorite CD pickups, bootleg CD pickups of 2023, another episode, music videos another, box sets another. And this is all mixed in with all the usual programming over the next couple weeks because it's the 12 videos of Christmas. I'm shooting for more. Enough of that 12. Guys, everyone, have a great holiday. Be good to each other. Listen to metal. Listen to Sabbath. Listen to Richard Wright. Whatever else.